Sup, it's your boy Slippy. I just recently actually just paid attention to, well, I watched it before, I didn't really pay attention to it, a video that my friend Sybil made, and, we had our ups and downs, and she just made this video about pretty much her history on YouTube, and I thought, I should make one myself, because, I would believe I was, kind of, part of YouTube, so I thought I might as well make one too, because through most of the stuff she was talking to, I was there. I wasn't really involved with most of it, but I was there when people were talking about it and all that shit. So I thought I might as well make a history on your boy Slippy, because before I started making airsoft reviews, I was I wouldn't really say a spriter. I was a spriter, but that wasn't the first video I made. I remember what kind of really got me into YouTube was these funny ass Speakonia videos that were made by, Flamin' Always, Hood Boy Tales, Firegorn, those homeboys. Those are the ones that made me laugh the most. And then eventually I stumbled upon, Kudu's videos, Sybil's videos, them. So I thought to myself, this is pretty cool, these, little sprite things, or, these the comedy and the talking with the little voices and all that. So, when I started to make my own, I forgot what my first sprite video was. I remember it had Silver, Sonic Shadow, and Mewtwo. Mewtwo was a character that I used myself. I cannot remember at all what the actual plot of it was. Then again, not a lot of them had a very well plot. The name of my series was 2.5 Hedgehogs, which is a playing out words of 2.5 Men, which is one of me and my dad's favorite shows, because we always piss ourselves laughing when we watch that show. So yeah, so that's the sprite series I made. I wasn't the best. I tried to be. To me, it really didn't matter if it looked good or not. What mattered to me was that I made people laugh with it, and I think I did a pretty good job at making people laugh. And a few key parts of the spriting people, it was kind of a lot simpler to me. Log into the streams, type a few things, yada yada yada, and it seemed a lot simpler. I remember a lot of the people, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the people that were there, a lot of them weren't the smartest, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying, mentally, but I'm just saying, judgmentally. I remember I was kicked out of streams repeatedly just for the fact that I didn't like Dayton. This is when everybody loved Dayton. They were dick riding Dayton hardcore. Everybody just loved him. I don't know why, but everybody just loved him. And he was a pretty cool guy back then. But you know what I saw? I saw it. I saw that he wasn't the greatest person back then. I saw it, and I did not like him. I did not like him. Didn't like him. But you know what? People judged me for not liking him, and I told them that eventually nobody else was going to like him, and that happened. The irony of that is nowadays, I talk to him. Nowadays, he's pretty cool guy. He, is pretty mellow now, and he doesn't afraid of anything, and, he's a pretty cool guy now. So, yeah, I can tolerate him now, so. Then another part, I remember being myself as a little spriter I was, being all butthurt when Sybil wanted to leave. I was all like, ooh! And, I tried to explain to people that, she wasn't going to do it, yada, 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 all that. I explained that to people, but no, they didn't listen. And a lot of the times, nobody did, because back then, you just couldn't leave. And eventually, yeah, she closed one of her accounts, but then as you heard from her video, she reopened it. So, yeah, I guess she did, but she came back, and, a lot of people didn't worry about it eventually until it actually happened. Then we're all like, oh shit, she really did it. But eventually, she came back, so it was all good. I never really, saw the point of all the... I dropped that. I didn't really see the point of all the drama that went on back then. This wasn't my first account. My first account was europa89, which is an account my mother made. May she rest in peace. It was an account my mother made, and I uploaded, my first ones up there, and then eventually I re-uploaded all my other Sprite videos to my Slipmad account. And then I made, more Sprite videos to be funny, I just like to entertain people. That was my kind of, hold on. Quit! My cat's making noise. Anyway. Yeah, I just love to entertain people, and that's what I loved about my series. I remember my first kind of good friend when I came onto YouTube, when I came into the streams, my first kind of good friend was europa89, aka John. We just kind of split apart eventually. I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know if he's still around. I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. We just kind of drift apart. And then my first, I'm not gonna lie, people on Skype know me as not the cleanest guy around. So yeah, I remember the first, girlfriend I had on the interwebs was that Haslove 2000 some date, 2003, 2004, one of those. Anyway, yeah, she was pretty cool. And then, went on after that. Then I eventually formed into the sick motherfucker I am today. High five. Anyway, so eventually, I never really talked to Sybil personally that much until like later on. Then we got into some kind of conflict. I don't even remember what it was, to be honest. But yeah, we're cool now. But yeah, I never really was the man to be involved with any conflict. Usually when I was involved with conflict, somebody had some kind of beef with me, and I just kind of brushed it off my shoulder and just kind of went on with my life. And really, I really wasn't, involved in anything too big. Pretty much, the timeline was spriting, more spriting, random videos. Then, today I do airsoft. I'd say I'm part of the airsoft community. People who don't know who airsoft is a sport like paintball, except you use BBs instead of paintball, and as you can see, they look, a little more realistic than paintball guns. But yeah, I remember the spriting days pretty damn well, and seeing that video made me, think of all those times. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss those times sometimes. Nowadays you got the people I hang out with, the people that Cassie and Lindsay hang out with, the people that Clay and them hang out with. That's what it is now. But back then, everybody was in that stream, and everybody talked with everybody. Everybody could, get along, and everybody could, talk to people. And back then we made Sprite videos. There was some conflict here and there. There was no deep hatred for anybody. And I think when Skype came around is when, we talked to each other a lot more, and that's what kind of got us to be tired of each other. And I think that's what kind of killed the spriting community. I wouldn't say killed, but honestly, the spriting community is dead. The original spriters were Kudu, of course, but, Sybil, Shadnick 17, Shadnick 17, Clay, me, Utakid, John, Cassie, Blackstar 17, Cassie, and, I can't think of her name for the life of me right now, but anyway, yeah, I'd say those are the kind of original people that kind of hybrided into the spriting community. And I think since when more spriters came to be, I think the spriting community kind of, became overpopulated, and more conflict and more drama was created due to the overpopulation of spriters, and I think that's also what kind of killed it. To be honest, let's face it, the spriting community is kind of, dead when it comes to YouTube. Newgrounds, I'd say it's, still pretty alive, but when it comes to YouTube, it's kind of dead, to be honest. I mean, a lot of people are doing other things, like Shadnick17, he's doing, I think, gameplay videos. I don't know. I haven't checked him out in a long time. Razor still sprites. Sybil does commentaries. I do Airsoft. Glitchmasters 4000, he hasn't uploaded anything, but he does gameplays. It's just, you know, spriting kind of died. Do I miss those times? Hell yeah, I miss those times. Fucking miss them a lot. But you know, gotta move on. There's one little tiny bit of life I could repeat. It was those simple times in the stream when I was just sit there at my computer with a 1 liter of Coke in my mama's apartment playing Mortal Kombat and talking to you peoples. Those are the best of times. They were the goodest of times. Yes, goodest. Goodest is now a word. FPS Slippy, goodest a word. Sometimes I honestly wish that we could get all the old spriters, you know, me, you, the kid,